Wrapping up training camp today, guys are off to class, and you can feel the energy with all the students coming back to campus. So a couple of weeks, a little bit less than that, obviously, until we go kick off in Neyland Stadium. So love what we've done throughout the course of training camp. You've seen individuals get better throughout the course of it. You've seen units get better. Good teams get better throughout the course of the season. We still got a lot of things we got to clean up before we get ready to go play. But competitive group like what they've done. Open it up.
What have you learned most about your team during camp?
I think, during the course of training camp, individual growth, fundamentals, technique, alignment, assignment, you've seen steady growth. None of that's going to be monumental in one day. It's continuing to take the right steps every single day. This group plays extremely hard. They compete extremely hard. They're really consistent in that, been really physical. So I like that part of our football team right now. As you get into the season, I think everybody, grasping their role, working and competing for the role that they want at the same time, growing as a player is really important. Keeping your team chemistry that you've built is really important as well. So those are things that as you embark on the season here at this point, you get ready to go play. Your coaches and players got to do a great job.
Does anything change with the approach now that camp is, quote, over and you're into mock week? Do you, in terms of practice, schedule, how you handle your team, contact, all those things? And then how healthy are you as you move into this next phase a week away, starting with your quarterback?
Yeah, quarterback?
Yeah, he missed the last couple of days.
Yeah, he's fine. Had a stomach bug and been out with us on the field here the last couple of days, so he's great. As a football team, healthy. At the same time, you look at training camp, the physical grind of it. There's some guys that got to continue to get to be their best by the time we get to kickoff, but that's always true this time of year. Your first question was? You'll get into some of the structures, some of the things that you maybe don't get in your work against another unit within our program. You try to emphasize some of those things to help your players, in all three phases of the game, continue to grow as a player for some of the things that they're going to see during the course of the year. For us, it becomes a little bit more like a regular game week, but you're still doing a lot of good work too. So it's kind of a combination, but it's a good taste for the new guys that have never been through a fall with us of what a game week kind of looks like.
Coach, it feels like you guys have been on quite a bit of a heater in recruiting. Why do you think that is? What's allowed you all to have the success the last 6 weeks or so in recruiting like you have? And then since you arrived, do you feel like the footprint for Tennessee has been more defined compared to maybe what you thought it was when you got here? Is it the same? How's that different?
Well, Tennessee is unique in all the states that touch it, how close in proximity it is to so many great players, north, south, east, and west. I think the success in recruiting for us isn't something that just happens in the last 6 weeks. I think there's so much hard work that goes into it from your staff, from your players here on campus when the recruits come to campus. At this point in our tenure, having long-standing relationships with coaches, people that have their feet on the ground, the recruits themselves, their families, us being able to recruit to the culture that we've built here, the success that we've had on the field, who we are and how we live out every single day, all those things parlay itself into the success that we've had on the recruiting trail here, in particular over the last month and a half. So, for us as a program, we got to keep taking steps forward, but we got elite players with physical traits that have high character, and that allows us to continue to recruit the right type of person and player to this program.
Josh, you had mentioned earlier in camp back here, you had mentioned earlier in camp that it was still sort of a work in progress with the in-helmet communication with the quarterbacks, and they weren't crazy about you guys talking to them quite as much. With the pace of play that you guys run on offense, is that something where it may be more reminders in their helmet versus the full play, to where maybe you give the full play still from the sideline and you just throw some reminders so you guys can keep that tempo? How will that work?
Yeah, it'll be a combination of all those things. You know, when it first came out, I think I said it, but, you know, it gives you an opportunity to have a little more description on some things that are unique within your game plan, situational football in particular, you know, 4-minute situation, reminding them of the play clock. You know, you have 4 downs here, you don't have 4 downs, you know, some of those things. And, you know, that really happens on both sides of the football.
Josh, just following up on Austin's recruiting question, you guys have had a lot of success in state, and I know that was a focus early on, but you've had a lot of success out of state. How do you explain that success of getting guys from those bordering states?
Time on task, that's with coaches. It's you know, people that you know, come into contact with some of these players. It's, you know, trainers, for example. It's being able to get them here to campus, them having an opportunity to see what Rocky Top looks like, the stadium, you know, visuals of game day experiences, them being here for game day. And ultimately, it's the culture. It comes down to your players in your locker room, you know, being able to be real with them about what it's like to live out and be a player here day in and day out. And then you look at the success on the field, the growth, the development of players, you know, as a man and as a player, where they have an opportunity to go fulfill their dreams.
Coach, back here, the left guard competition, has anyone stood out, and what do you see out of that?
No depth chart being handed out yet, all right? Been really good. You know, Dre missed a couple days, but came right back. He's played, you know, really well. Sham's playing really well. Jackson Lampley has versatility to play multiple sides as well. So, you know, as we head into this week, there's still a lot of competition, and I've said it, you know, to our team since January, our coaches included. I think I've mentioned it to you guys too. We got to have multiple guys ready to play.
Josh, you've mentioned Squirrel after a couple of scrimmages. He's one of your more established playmakers on offense. What do you kind of, where is he at going into this season, and what kind of camp has he had, and what do you expect from him this season?
Had a really good camp, got great command, understanding of what we're doing, the fundamentals and technique that go in with the different coverages that he's going to see based off of the route concept. He plays extremely hard, plays extremely physical, catches the ball well. He's had a great training camp.
Josh, what has Christian Harrison done to position himself to where he could potentially be a starter in the opener?
Yeah, you know, with Jordan going down, you know, Christian playing there, Boo Carter, you guys have asked about him too. Both of those guys have done a great job of growing in the fundamentals, playing the position, the communication that takes place there with the guys beside them, back behind them. You know, making plays. Really excited about what both of those guys have done on the practice field up until this point, and both those guys will play a lot of ball.
Yeah, Josh, kind of, I guess, backpacking off Ben's question, with the secondary in general, obviously losing Jordan Thomas was a blow, but in terms of building depth there with so many new pieces, how many guys back there in that group do you feel comfortable with, kind of with a couple weeks to the season?
You know, I feel really good about where we're at with that group, not just, you know, the first guy that you might see on Saturday, but the guy that's going to come in and play a lot of football behind them too. So they've had a really good camp. You know, they've continued to get better, and so got really good trust in those guys.
You're talking about culture a lot when you're recruiting these guys. What qualities do you look for in these recruits that fit the mold of Tennessee's culture?
Yeah, smart, tough, relentless competitors, love football, care about the people around them, want to be great as a man, not just as a player, and are going to go chase it every day.
Josh, you talked, I think, when camp started, but one of the priorities was red zone production for your offense. As you roll into mock
Red zone
week,
defense too.
where do you think you are with your red zone? What do you like about what you've got done? What gives you encouragement that you've improved in those areas?
Time on task. We spent a bunch of time in that area of the field, both sides of the football. Schematically, subtle changes to what we've done. We got to be efficient, prolific, throwing the football. When you're off schedule down there, we get into the season, you got to be elite running the football. Defensively, you got to be able to match people out, and that's zone coverages and man principles as well. At the end of the day, we got to go prove it, but we've continued to grow in that area. Yeah, they've been really good. Peyton and Cam, different because of the timing of their surgeries, but both of them have been exposed to more things throughout the course of training camp. Both those guys are full go right now, and D. Sampson in a great spot, and Khalifa. So really excited about that group. Yeah, he's been practicing with us. The direct questions come from Adam, not from you. Adam, will you ask that question, please? Yeah. Yes, sir.